Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network. The broadcast shows are for informational and entertainment purposes only. They are not designed to provide listeners with specific personal, medical, or counseling advice. Individuals with a medical issue should always consult their healthcare provider. MS&Me is not responsible for content of individual shows. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own. Enjoy the show.
Hey y'all, welcome to Straight Up with MS and all its crazy little circles here on MS and Me Radio, brought to you by the MS Global Support Network. I'm your host, Patty Long, and you can find me at MS and It for Life, because that's what we're doing here is MS and It and living a great life. And I spell that MSENIT, the number 4, LIFE. I am on Twitter, and I have a YouTube account with nothing on it except for a few people that I'm following. But I will soon be getting a video camera. I have actually decided, yay, I made a decision what type of camera I want. So now I just have to wait on everything to get here, which, shipping and all that good stuff. So it might be a few days, but I should have one soon, and then it'll take me a month probably to figure out how to use it. I'll probably put up some stupid videos before that. While I'm playing with it, like ha ha ha, kind of stuff. But I won't get into anything more than that until after I learn to use the camera. And when you have MS, learning new things, even stupidly simple things, are mighty complicated. It's just part of what makes us so unique. And before I get too much further, and before my throat gets completely dry and I can't talk, because it's late in the afternoon, well, early evening, pre-evening, as Sheldon would say. But I have had my grandchildren. They spent the night with me last night and stayed all day today too. And so we've had a blast. But I'm exhausted. Keeping these kids and playing with them and doing all that needs to be done is, like I said, it's very tiring. And so I'm a little bit tired today. And I still have a pool match to go to tonight. We'll see if I make it. I hope so. I hope I can get cleaned up in time. But before I got on to some more stuff about being dizzy, I thought I would share something with you guys. Because I was talking to a girl. And she goes on Twitter by the official Ang. And we were talking about how, on a private message, which they don't call private messages, they call them direct messages because it's Twitter. But I was on Twitter talking with her on the direct messages, and the conversation led to the fact that MS takes a lot away from people. And it does. It truly does. I totally agree. And I have memory gaps, and she has memory gaps that are like, as she put it, black holes. And that she doesn't remember anything. And I have whole months that are like that. I have 6-8 months at a time that are like that I just really don't remember anything. So maybe not quite 6-8, probably more like 2 or 3, because I remember going to bed and it being summertime and waking up and it being wintertime. So that's at least 3. But in any case, we just can't look at it as losing stuff. We can't think of it that way. And our lives do change. They change regardless of whether or not we have MS. I was, different. I had a different personality almost, not really, but kind of. And, things were starting to develop when I was little as far as my personality and my stubbornness and all of those kinds of things. But, our lives changed. So when I was little, I was a different person than I was when I was a teenager and into my early 20s. And then I got pregnant, which I wasn't supposed to be able to have kids. So that was really exciting. And I was like 24. So almost 25, I guess, somewhere in there. And yeah, see, my sense of time and math and anything like that is completely gone, but that doesn't matter. Okay, that's what I'm saying. And because I was a different person, before I had my children. And then I had one son, and then 6 years later I had three children. And so my life during those years changed dramatically. And it wasn't something that I had ever expected, because I wasn't supposed to be able to have the first kid, let alone three. So, you know, this this time period was crucial, and it changed my life. It changed everything. And then, because I had three children or was about to have my third child, I should say, and daycare was so expensive, I quit working a regular job. That was, you know, after that, I never had another regular go to work at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or whatever time, and then come home and leave, go in to work and then come home. That's when I quit doing that. And, as time went by, now I didn't do this and then not have any kind of income, because I did have to make money. But when I subtracted out what I would have been paying daycare, I really didn't need to make that much money to pay the rest of my bills, because daycare ate a lot of it. So, it wasn't that big a thing. And I did everything from bookkeeping and little paperwork office kind of stuff, all the way to cleaning smoke damaged houses and making small home repairs. So I did all these different things to make ends meet, and I did. And then my children were all in school, and bam, my life changed again. And my youngest son, he's really super, super smart, but he didn't learn to read in the way other kids were learning how to read. It just didn't make sense to him. And so he went to a program at the elementary school called Reading Recovery. And I went too, so I could help teach him how to read. And I learned Reading Recovery. And boy, did that program make a difference in my child's life. He was awesome at school after that, straight A student. So, just because he learned different didn't mean that there was anything wrong. And as I was there at the school and volunteering to help, I saw that there was a need for somebody to help out with math. And here I am, a mathematician, and so I took what I learned from Reading Recovery and applied that to math. And so I started a math recovery program. And that program did way better than I ever could have hoped for. But it was a great program. I hope it's still in the school. I don't know, because I'm not there anymore and I haven't been in a long time. But I started doing that, and then I started substituting, which was kind of like having a job, but not, because I could say no anytime I wanted. And I said no if I had other work, because frankly, my other jobs paid more. And that was just something so that I could have fun and keep an eye on what was going on in the schools, you know? So, um, life changes, and it continually changes. Whether or not we have MS, it changes. And it doesn't make it bad because it changed. I mean, my life wasn't over when I decided that it wasn't worth it to have a regular job. It wasn't, you know. I found other things to occupy me and to feel good about and to do. And part of that, of course, was raising my kids. So, you know, life does keep changing. And everybody's does. And I think our challenges can make us better people than we were before MS. Because we have special challenges, and those challenges can do a lot. They can they can change our emotions to those of empathy for others, and we can learn to help one another. And I now that I'm sitting here recording a show, of course, I can't think of all the different ways I had thought of before that um, are actually good changes, but there are a lot. And, you know, you just can't think of it as it being your life being over, or that it's all about loss, because there's a lot to gain out there. You know, there's always new opportunities for people, and we can do what we can do to help ourselves be our best. And that's why I'm stressing exercise all the time, because that really, really, really helps a person to be their best. Whether it is physical exercises or cognitive exercises or emotional exercises, like I've told y'all about before, just smiling at yourself in the mirror really big, and then making silly faces till you laugh, saying, "It's going to be a great day. I'm going to have a blast." And it's been a great day, y'all. I might be tired, but it's been a great day. So, you know, and I've got more of a day to come, and I'm just thrilled that I'm still going, you know. So, life can still bring about all kinds of special surprises, fun things, happy times, you know, and it's not done with just because we have MS. It's just beginning. We just get a chance to renew ourselves, remake ourselves, or start again, you know. And in my case, that meant new friends and some new hobbies, because my old hobbies I wasn't able to do so well or at all. And so it's been interesting, to say the least. And I've learned a lot about exercise that I never thought I would learn. And I've learned a lot about people that I never wanted to know. But all in all, you know, I've come through pretty well. And I think everybody can, once you get past those really tough times at the beginning and trying to learn your way. And so I'm hoping that my shows are helping y'all a little bit learn your ways, if nothing else. You know, this morning, getting on to what I really want to finish up talking about, because now we've been on this for many episodes. Oh gosh, excuse me, there goes that coughing. See, that's what happens when I start talking for a little while. I get kind of choked up. But, and yes, that's an MS thing for me. I have swallow issues. So it's definitely an MS thing for me. And I've had stutter issues, and I get slurred speech every now and then, but it's just every now and then. It's usually stuttering that I have does with, and you gotta laugh when it happens. And I got a crazy friend that laughs at everything that happens, but maybe she's got some issues there with laughter. I don't know. She's a fun person. She likes to laugh. She's like I am. I don't think it's inappropriate. I think we just like to laugh. But this morning, I woke up and I was dizzy. I mean, I was dizzy. And, last week I told y'all when you wake up dizzy, check about your eyes and stuff. And did you move fast? And things like that, because there's lots of stuff that can make us dizzy. But no, it wasn't any of that. But it dissipated, it went away. I had to work at it a little bit, but I made it go away pretty quickly. So then I checked on the app that goes with my watch, because I have a Hawaii Fit smartwatch that tells me about my sleep patterns. And sure enough, this morning I woke up in the middle of a deep sleep. And when we wake up in the middle of a deep sleep, a lot of times that will make us dizzy. And like I said, this is the kind of dizzy that will dissipate in a little while, but you're going, whoa, I can't even sit up. Whoa, let me lay back down a second. And then you try again. Whoa, nope, it's not happening. And so I laid in the bed and I did some stretching as I listened to my granddaughter singing Old MacDonald. And she was in a playpen, so she couldn't escape. And her older brother was in there building Legos. And he had gotten up a little bit before she did, but he doesn't wake people up when he gets up. He plays quietly, and he's a good boy. So I never have to worry about it. But she was singing at the top of her lungs, Old MacDonald. And this child loves to sing and dance. So one of these days I'll actually get a recording of her, because once she sees the microphone, she gets really quiet and won't speak. It's like she's overwhelmed by the look of a mic. So and my phone is crap. It doesn't record very well. It doesn't take video very well. It's just it's kind of old, and it has no memory and space, and it just doesn't do well at this stuff. So anyways, but she just gets really shy when she sees the microphone and doesn't say a word, so I can't record her singing. But that's how I woke up in the middle of a deep sleep. And a lot of times, if we have an alarm clock set, or our spouse does and is getting up leaving for work, then that wakes us up in the middle of a deep sleep. And when we do, the dizziness will fade. It won't last all day or for 2 days or 3 days, which is a sign of a relapse. It'll go away. And so I did, while I was listening a little bit, saying I stretched really good, and then I sat up and was, oh, I'm dizzy, whoa, and my head's spinning. So I started spinning with the spin, and I thought, oh, that's not good. So then I remembered I need to go the opposite direction. So I start spinning the other direction to try and undizzy myself, as we say. But that didn't work. And I'm like, oh no, I got my grandkids. It's got to go away. And by the time she was done singing, and she sang more than Old MacDonald, that's just the song that I woke up to. But she kept on singing, and by the time she was done, maybe 20, 30 minutes later, the dizziness was gone enough that I could sit up, stand up, go to the bathroom, and walk up to my living room another 10 foot or so down the hallway. So, you know, it's one of those things that happens, you know, when you wake up like that. Now, when it comes to our balance, and I do a lot of balance exercises, there's one that people maybe don't know about so much, but I call it walking the line, because I walk and I put my toe, I walk with my heels and my toes touching so that I'm in a straight line, kind of a drunk test. There we go. It's the drunk test here in the U.S. to make sure that you are sober, where you put your heel up against your toes and then your other heel over. And I wouldn't expect anybody to be able to do this right away. So take it easy. Don't try and, do it too fast. And have something, that you can steady yourself with, if you need to. Because when I first started doing this, I used the rail on my balcony. I was right next to it, so if I started to wobble, I could grab that rail. And that was one of the things that I have done that has really helped improve my balance. And it has also helped to let me walk in an actual straight line instead of the normal weave and wobble walk that we see and that we often have experienced with MS, our drunk walk. That's why people are all the time saying, "Are you drunk?" And you're like, "No," because we do have this weeble wobble to our walk a lot of times, and it's in our hips and our balance and everything. And doing this drunk walk test pulls our legs together. It pulls our hips together so that we can walk straight. And it teaches our hips to do it straight. And of course, before you can do that, you have to be able to stand. And before you can stand, well, you have to be able to sit up. And no, I'm just kidding. Before you stand, though, it is hard sometimes to be able to stand. So we might need to back up and start at a sooner point. And you can find all kinds of great things, great exercises to do on MS&Me Media's site, the MS Gym. It's Trevor Wicken, I believe is his last name. And he does an awesome job with this. Now, what he does is quite a bit different than what I have done. So once I get my video camera, I'll show you guys my exercises. Another thing that you can do for your balance, if you have one, is use one of the yoga balls, the big giant balls that you sit on. And when you sit on that will help you a lot with your balance. And just sitting on it and holding yourself there will help you with your balance. And again, I encourage you, if you're going to try this, to try it at first with something next to you so that if you start to lose your balance, you can grab a hold of something instead of fall over in the floor. At least when you're sitting on the ball, though, if you lose your balance, you don't have far to go because you're already close to the floor. Don't get them too big. Make sure you get the appropriate size. And they're not that expensive. I think I paid $10 or $12 for mine. And then you have to, get a pump and blow it up. And then you're good to go. And there's lots of stuff that you can do with that exercise ball. And that is good for balance. I also like a wobble board, or at least that's what I call it. It's a piece of wood. It looks like a square piece of wood with another curved piece attached underneath it. And it just goes in two different directions, right and left. And then if you're standing the other way, then it's forwards and backwards. And that thing is awesome, but you have to be able to stand again to use that one. So if you're not standing yet, then I suggest, or standing well yet, I should say, then I suggest that you start with the ball and try to sit on the ball, the exercise ball, and hold yourself steady on it to help with your balance, to help with your hips. And instead of putting your feet wide apart, put your feet closer together. You want them no more than the width of your hips. You know, you don't want to be any wider than hip width. Hip width, I can say that, it's a tongue twister. Hip width with your feet, because any wider than that and you're defeating the purpose. So, keep your feet kind of together. Now, being that I was in gymnastics and diving, I naturally put my feet together. And I walk and stuff with my feet closer together than hip width. And that's just my natural walk. So when I first started physical therapy, of course, I had the zombie crawl going on and the zombie mind going on, and my legs were all over the place and they barely held me up, and I barely made it to the door, and then barely got to the next door without, it would take me 30 minutes just to get inside from parked in the handicapped space right in front of it. So, these exercises really do help. And I encourage you to work on the neck exercises and the eye exercises, because those are important. And that is exactly what I did after I was sitting up. I started doing those neck exercises, and I spun with it, and then I spun against it, and then I went to my neck exercises and doing my neck exercises and opening my eyes and doing my eye movements, the whole thing, and then closing them and doing it and opening them. And it was all, it's every which way, so that you can get rid of the dizziness. And it takes it all for me. I don't know about y'all. And then, of course, there's a ton of medicines that make us dizzy. Baclofen. Oh my gosh, baclofen made me very dizzy and very sleepy. So check with your neurologist if you're having dizzy problems, please, because it could be medicine or it could be something else. And regardless of which it is, try some exercises for it, because those exercises help. And life does keep going. And we are great. And be sure you tell yourself every day with a big smile on your face, I am going to have a great day today. Yes, I am. Today is my day. I'm going to own it. Today, I own the day. And then you will. So remind yourself as often as you can and as often as you need to. It's time for me to go. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Erica Lyons Richardson. Y'all have a great week. Smile big, smile often, and laugh a lot. Love you. Bye-bye.